Okay. I'm not entirely sure how I'm doing this because this is different to stuff I normally do. But I'm just going to start the introduction and then I'm explain what's going on. Hi friends, my name is Kieran. Welcome to the room. Today, this video is a little bit different. We are not doing a reaction. We are doing a review of The Leftovers, Season 1, Episode 5, Gladys. Now, the reason this is a review and not a reaction is because in cleaning up my video files, I accidentally deleted my reaction file to this episode. And rather than re-react to the episode in a way that felt a little disingenuous, and also because there are parts of the episode that were really difficult to watch, I decided I would just do a review. And I've also decided this video will be up on YouTube, so if you're seeing this on YouTube, I have decided that, as I previously stated, because of the amount of editing and the time it takes to edit this series, it's really long, it's really stressful, that this series will be moving over to Patreon, fully uncut as a Patreon exclusive. If you're interested in continuing to watch this series, it will be fully unedited over on my Patreon. As I stated, this is going to be a review of the episode. I haven't done one of these before. So, at the beginning of the episode, Gladys and who is she out with? Okay. Gladys is the woman in the GR who has the short hair and the glasses. She's out. Who is she out with? I don't remember her being. Is she out with Patty? Is she out with Patty? She's out with somebody. They're out doing their GR stuff, right? And somebody who we don't know, somebody grabs Gladys and pulls her into the woods. They tie her to a tree and they presume to stone her to death. And it was brutal. It was very, very difficult to watch. I have no desire to revisit that scene. It was very hard to watch. And they end up killing her. And it appears to be a small group of people. Oh, yes. Is she with... Lori. She was with Lori. I forgot she was with Lori. So, Lori realizes that she's missing, goes and tells Patty. They all go back to the house, to the GR house, and everybody comes, and they find Gladys in the woods. They go back to the house, and Lori has a panic attack, an anxiety attack. Who can blame her? You just found someone you're close with dead in the woods. Oh, that's another thing. So Lori runs into Trucker, who we learn his name is Dean. Lori runs into him. He's out shooting dogs. As far as we know, he's not involved in the death of Gladys, but maybe he knows more than he lets on, because he was out there. Maybe he saw more than we think he saw. But right now, there's nothing to suggest that he was involved in her death. Patty goes to see Kevin, tells Kevin the police are very unhelpful. They're making fun of Gladys. They're laughing at the fact that someone from the GR was killed. But Kevin, who is a nice guy, Kevin is going to help them. Somebody from the police station has reached out to this group that's called AFTEC. What are they called? ATFEC, ATFEC, who is like a subsection of the FBI. And Kevin is upset because he's like, I'm the police chief. You have to go through me first. I didn't okay this, right? You need to call them, because what's happening is, like, you need to call them and tell them, don't send anybody. We're taking care of this on our own. Lori is in the hospital for her panic attack, but, she's there for like a day, and then she leaves, and Patty comes, picks her up, takes her to a motel room somewhere. And the next day, Lori wakes up and she has different clothes. And Patty's like, I'm in the restaurant. Come talk to me. She goes to the restaurant. Patty is like, hey, for today, you can talk because I'm giving you a pass for today. You can talk. But Lori is sticking to her guns, and Lori is not talking. And we learned that Lori has not spoken for the last 8 months. And I believe previously we learned that Lori's only been part of the GR for a year, maybe less than a year. Because of the attack that happened to Gladys, Kevin decides there needs to be a curfew in the town. They have a city meeting. The citizens of the town are kind of like, fuck the GR. We're not obeying a curfew. It felt very COVID because everybody's like, you can't make us stay in our house. Like, and they were telling them they had to be in by like 8 p.m., right? When people are fucking home anyway, right? And he even said, hey, if you work at night, that's okay. That's exception to the rule, right? But nobody wanted to keep the curfew. Dean, trucker, he's calling him Dean. Dean is at the meeting, right? And he starts talking about how since he moved here, what does he say? He says something about since he moved here, he thinks this is a nice town. He doesn't want to turn into something. And nobody else in the meeting really reacts to him. But I found it very interesting. He talks about how he moved here and he's lived here for several months. But then when they searched for registration on his truck, there wasn't one. I don't know how stuff like that works. I don't know if that means his truck would have been registered somewhere else. I just found that very suspicious. And again, remember the previous episode, Kevin's car like stopped working, but now he has Dean's truck. And I'm very suspicious of Dean, who he is, what his motivations are, and what his actual like motivation is. What is he doing? But nobody wants the curfew, right? So Kevin goes back to the GR. He gives them some whistles. He's like, hey, if you guys need help, if you're out, if you feel unsafe, here's some whistles. Blow the whistles to alert somebody, right? And they're kind of like, fuck off. We don't want your help. I always feel like Kevin is being very genuine with them, and I really don't know why they're so cold to him, but then that's their whole shtick, is being cold. We go back to Patty and Lori. Patty and Lori are in the restaurant, and Patty tells Lori that Gladys's son had died, I believe in a war. Her son died in the war, and she brought Gladys to this restaurant, and Gladys was the same, and Patty was like, hey, if you need to talk, we can talk, let's have a conversation. But Gladys did not speak, did not break her vow of silence. Then before they leave, Patty takes some of the food with her, and she leaves this food in front of someone's home. Kevin has now decided that he needs to go check on Gladys's body, part of the investigation. Oh, the ATFET guy. Kevin calls the ATFET guy like 4 times. Calls him. The guy does not return his calls. Kevin gets to the morgue. Gladys's body has been transferred. So now Kevin has to call the ATFET guy, and he's like, what the fuck, dude? I called you. Give us back our person. Like, I told you we're going to take care of this by ourselves. And the guy is a real douchebag and basically says, no, we have the body now. It's ours. It's now under our proceedings. I don't know. Crime word. I don't know. The ATFET guy, who I think works for the FBI, he basically tells Kevin, hey, if you want us to come there and shoot and kill all the people in the GR, we'll do that and we'll get them out of your hair. And I and Kevin are horrified. No, like, no, we don't want you to come shoot anybody. Kevin is like, hangs up on the guy, right? This also, I feel like this is going to play in later, but Jill, Kevin's daughter Jill, she keeps forgetting to turn on the house alarm. And Kevin gets onto her. He's like, you have to turn on the alarm. I want you to turn on the alarm. I don't care, if it's me, turn on the alarm. Always set the alarm, right? So finally she does it. And I feel like that's going to come into play somehow, because as we saw in previous episode, the GR broke into everyone's homes and stole all their photographs. Also, that wasn't addressed, and I understand that the premise of the episode was addressing Gladys's death and Gladys's murder, but not one single person brought up the fact that, hey, our fucking photographs are missing. Meg, something after this happens, like it seems like after Gladys's attack happens and Meg sees how bad it affects Lori, that something turns in her brain and she decides she's ready to fully commit to the GR. So she starts smoking, she starts wearing the white clothes. I'm glad Meg understands what's going on, because I still do not know what the GR is doing. Oh, Kevin talks to Pastor Matt, Preacher Matt, Father Matt, what do you call him? Kevin talks to Matt because, remember in episode 3, somebody who's throwing rocks at the GR hits Matt in the head. That's why Matt ends up in the hospital for 3 days. That's why he loses his church, right? So Kevin is suspicious that Matt might have thrown the rocks or been part of the group that thrown the rocks, because he's mad at the GR for taking his church away. Matt says he doesn't know anything. Matt goes to the GR house to sort of offer condolences. He's standing out in the road offering condolences, a vigil of sorts, you might say. People standing there with candles. He's on his megaphone speaking to them. And Lori runs out of the house with her whistle, and she stands there and she's blowing her whistle in his face, very clear signifying that I took it to mean, because at first I took it to mean that she was just being aggressive with him to get him to leave. But because Kevin gave them the whistles to blow when they felt like they're under attack, I feel like this is symbolic of Lori signaling to Matt that she feels like he's attacking her and he's attacking them and he's not respecting their wishes. Then we go back to, as we know, Gladys's body got moved from the morgue, and the FBI guy was like, blah, blah, investigation. This is our investigation now. But as we see, there is no investigation. They are not investigating anything, and Gladys's body, along with many other bodies from a truck, as we saw in the episode with Tom and Christine, these bodies wrapped in white sheets or tarps or whatever they're wrapped in are just getting incinerated. And I am really confused, because I want to know, have the process around burials changed? Is this everyone that dies? Why are there so many bodies on this truck? Are all these people on this truck, are these all members of the GR? Because I've kind of deduced that the GR is a nationwide phenomenon, but I might be wrong, and maybe they only belong to this one town, because usually cults are kind of local. But if so, who are all the bodies on these trucks? Because we can determine that all the bodies on the trucks are going to the same place, and they're all getting incinerated. Because someone in a previous episode also mentioned someone paid money to have this person sent here. Why? Who are these people? Why are they being sent here? Why are they being incinerated? Did we see who Patty left the food for? They're at the restaurant. Kevin tells Jill about the divorce. I felt really bad for him, because he's clearly very upset about this. He's clearly being very vulnerable. And his daughter, she's a teenager. I really wanted her to give him a hug or comfort him or something, because I feel, for all these characters, I feel like, to me, Kevin's isolation feels really strong. Kevin feels like he is on his own. His son's somewhere, his daughter doesn't care, his wife's in a cult, wants a divorce, and even the people at the police station are sort of walking over him and ignoring his authority and sort of doing what they want, and he's trying to keep all this stuff together. I really feel like Kevin feels very alone. So I hope that this was a decent review, summary/review. It's my first review. And videos like this are not going to happen very often, unless something like this happens again, which I'm going to try for it not to, or if there's something I need to expand on that maybe I didn't, because sometimes at the end of an episode, I can't process everything that's just happened. So if I need to expand a little bit more, I'll probably make something like this. Yeah. So I'm reacting to episode 6 probably later today or tomorrow. I hope you guys will come to the Patreon to enjoy the series. If you don't want to, there are different tiers on the Patreon. If you don't want to subscribe for the Patreon exclusive tier, there are other things that you can subscribe for. And the more people that join the Patreon, the more stuff and ideas I'm going to have on the Patreon. There's not a lot going over there right now. There's not a lot going on over there right now because there's not really anything to do. But further down the line, as we build up the community and more things happen, I'm hoping to do more things and have more stuff available on the Patreon for you guys. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Please go check out my other reaction videos. That's the end. That's the end for now. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I appreciate putting up with all my ramblings. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Bye.